All right, today's project on the El Camino is going to be a shift kit. I got a turbo 400 automatic transmission for the car, or the original, actually the original numbers matching transmission. But anyways, it's been rebuilt, but a shift kit wasn't put in it, so I'm gonna put a shift kit in it. Got this one from B&M Shift Improver Kit. One thing, and this is for a Turbo 400, 1965 to 1987. So this is the correct one. You want to make sure you get these things right. Quick story, long time ago, I put a shift kit in a friend's Firebird for him, and it had a Turbo 350 transmission. And I did not know that there's actually a Turbo 350C, I believe it is what it is, which is like a lockup, has a lockup converter in it. I knew nothing about that. And I got a Turbo 350 kit and I put it in the transmission. It seemed kind of funny the way it went in, but it went in, parts didn't look right, but whatever, I'd done it before, so I just kind of redid it anyway, or did it that way anyways. And about 3 days later, his transmission burned up. And I bought him a new transmission. So I learned the hard way. So these kind of things here, make sure it's right, make sure you get the right one, make sure you follow the instructions and put it in correctly. And that's what we're gonna do right now. I'm gonna get the transmission in or over here, set it up here on my bench, get the camera all set up right, and we're gonna go through putting a transmission or shift kit into the transmission. All right, so here we go. I got the transmission up on the bench here. In case you don't know, the pan, you can tell the transmission type by looking at the pan, you know, for a quick glance to tell what it is. Looks like the state of Texas, kind of, roughly, Turbo 400. But like I said, you still got to make sure it's the proper year so you don't burn your transmission up. So, but anyways, go ahead and pull that off. I already took the bolts out. Save a minute or two there. So, the instructions say to remove the filter. So we'll get on that right now. This sits in there and it's got a little shoulder on it, on the bolt right there. And that's just to kind of let this thing sit, because it kind of hangs there a little bit. You don't want it up real tight. So anyways, there's an O-ring that goes right on here where it goes into the transmission. And the O-ring's already in there, and you know, the kit comes with O-rings and stuff. I'm not going to change them because, like I said, this transmission's brand new. All right, so we want to take a visual inspection of everything, make sure we can kind of remember where everything is. Take a picture of it if you need to. Well, now I'll take the valve body off. Couple of smaller ones. Okay, so we're going to pry these up a little bit here. Slowly take it off. Leave those right where they are. Now, another one, we have to unplug this. The little detent switch right there for the passing gear. Instructions give you directions, but they're for the transmission being in the car, so everything's upside down, you know, from what they tell you. Okay, and then here comes our plates. All right. the other part here. Got that apart. Okay. Now, I want us to take apart the accumulator. All right, I had to get down a little better view here so I can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to get this little C-clip nut, or whatever you call this thing, out of here. And I'm gonna kind of I don't know if I can get that in anymore. That is it. Got it out. Son of a gun. Okay. Now this one, what we're doing, there's two different levels to this kit. There's heavy duty and there's street. Street's going to give you a firmer shift, and so that's what I'm doing is the street one. So, heavy duty, no modification required. Valve body in a vise and compress. Remove the piston and then reinstall the piston and E-clip. So, spring goes away. I'm going to wipe that out. That thing seems a little bit dirty inside there. Put it back in there. It's got a little ring on it, kind of like a piston ring. It's got to be compressed to get it back in there. Go back in. And throw the clip back in there. All right, that part's done. What it does is those springs in there make for a softer shift. So when you take the springs out, it'll stiffen up the shift on it a little bit. So that part's done, leftover piece. All right, now drill the B&M separator plate orifice indicated on separator plate, which is going to be I'm going to make some room for that. Okay, according to the kit instructions, it says to drill for the street, drill the separator plate, and I marked it in here, one there and one there. If it was only for the heavy duty, you'd only do one. So I'm going to go ahead and drill those. They sent a bent drill bit. Oh well, it'll work. Just take a file and deburr that other side. Okay, separator plate's done. Put that with the gaskets. Next step, the balls. What we'll do, it says check ball placement. Okay, we can see that. Install check balls, location, heavy duty. 3 check balls, 1 each in locations 4, 5, 6. Okay, we're gonna go like this. Location 4 and 5, so that's gonna be that one and that one. And that one. So, number 3 goes. Number 2. 3, which is there, 2 and 1. Those balls, I'll just put them in my pocket. So we should have 4, 5, and 6, according to 4, 5, and 6, which is going to be 4, 5, 4, 6, and 5. Okay, that's done. Place your upper valve body gasket, has a C on it. Well, it has a valve body on it. This one doesn't have a C. That's odd. All right, well, let's see what it says about the next step. The lower valve body gasket has VB punched into it. Okay, so the first one to go down is this one. Okay. That one goes down. Alrighty. Use grease or petroleum gel. Okay, you could use grease or whatever to hold it in place, but it's upside down. Install the plate and gasket against the case and use a clean pan bolt to hold it. Okay, so it'll be this. All right, now we put on the next gasket, valve body gasket. 2 gaskets, one underneath the plate and one in between the plate here and the transmission plate, another gasket, and then the valve body. We also have these guys finger tight. You gotta remember that. So, we got our governor tubes in here. Get them in place. Carefully get this aligned. You don't want to rip these gaskets because, you know, anywhere you got fluid going where it's not supposed to go or anything of the sort, that's when you burn up a transmission. Anything that builds heat, anywhere that it'll build heat is going to be bad for the transmission. your bolts in first and getting in there moving freely, you know, finger tight before you try to do anything else, because if you go cinching it down, then you may have trouble getting the rest of the bolts in, and you might damage the gasket or strip a thread, or who knows what could happen. Everybody's moving nice and freely. I'm not hammering them down, just getting them down in there. It calls for between 8 to 10 foot-pounds. I'm using the inch-pound meter, so I have it at 100 inch-pounds, so 8 times 12 would be 96. So I've set it at 100 right in the middle, and that's what I'm going to torque these at. Go over them a couple of times. Okay, re-plug in our detent solenoid for our passing gear. Plug back in. Everybody's connected. Moves freely. Looks good. All right, pan gasket back on. I'm going to reuse the O-ring that's in there because new transmission and it hasn't been run and it's still new. No sense in changing it. And then this pan, or this bolt with the shoulder on it, for this. Alright. Going to reuse the pan gasket that was on there because once again it was new. Get that on. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and put all these pan bolts back in, and I think there's even a torque setting on those too. I've never torqued them before. And 8 to 10 pounds. So it's the same as the torque converter bolts or the valve body bolts. So, yep. So I guess I'll torque these too. So anyways, I'm going to put the bolts in, torque it, and then we'll be done. So that'll be the end of this, getting the transmission done. Like I said, take your time and do it. You know, I've found out the hard way a couple of times about automatic transmissions, but the thing is don't be scared of them. They're not that big of a deal. Take your time, read your instructions, double check, triple check, quadruple check what you're doing. It'll work. It's not black magic. Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, give me a comment. I'd greatly appreciate it. Bye.